Couch looking for one.
On Wednesday, February 13th, the Crows had their first date in the Foster's Cup, the AFL pre-season competition. It's always a good indicator for the pending season. Playing against his former club, the Prez, Bruce Linder, performed in an inspired fashion. There's not much he can't do when his mind's on the job. He was a sensation. The Crows managed to surprise everyone with their teamwork and every sense of understanding between themselves. They seemed to relish the new pressure, and they lifted to outstrip Geelong with their quick hands and uncanny vision.
Will it get to him? It sits now. Goes backwards. Goes to half-forward. They've got a paddock here for McDermott. Will it sit? He can go all the way. He can bounce as many times as he likes. He'll hit Hodges on the chest. It was wonderful. Well,
hometown boy Tony McGuinness had returned from a 5-year stint in the AFL. He managed to make his presence felt very early for the Crows. His pace and skills, once unleashed, are simply uncontrollable.
It goes through. It's another one.
The crowd took some time to warm to the new combination, but there's no doubt they had the players running on adrenaline at times, doing some remarkable things. Overlooked by AFL talent scouts, David Marshall, starting his AFL career at 30 years of age, defied the years. His younger teammate, Matthew Kelly, showed some of his goods as well.
Kelly runs up the inside 50, goes for goal with a drop punt and puts it through.
Their first Foster's Cup match had turned into an exhibition of individual skills. None better than Darryl Hart. He was everywhere that evening with some precise conversions.
Bangs it through.
Drop punt kick to the front of the goals. Hodges can't mark, but they've got 3 on the ground again. And a great shepherd. He's Hart. He'll get his 6th. No doubt. Another goal to the Crows.
Only a Victorian could have been fooled by little Eddie Hocking's evasion close to goal. It's his trademark.
Looking for Hart.
With their first Foster's Cup win under their belt, the Crows headed to Waverley on a date with the Saints. They trailed St Kilda by 14 points at three-quarter time, but fought back to win by 10 points. It was the Crows' first game in Melbourne and their first win away. It was a courageous fight back, and not everything went the way of the Adelaide Football Club. But they stayed at the task and gradually pegged the Saints back, with goals coming thick and fast.
Smart, though, was good enough. Give it across to a pretty mobile Peter McIntyre. Good pass to finds Thompson. Chance now. Oh, beautiful kick too. A 65-metre drop punt up towards the forward line. Chance for Hodges. Did he push Frawley out? He's got it, Hodges. Can he kick a goal? Round on the right foot. Hooks it back.
Eddie Hocking again proved why he was selected for night games. The ball spends so much time on the ground. Hocking managed to be quite a nuisance.
McGuinness to McDermott onto Maynard. Maynard kicking long. Now Hodges should get to this
Scotty
line.
Hodges had a very late start to the season. Contract problems and a troublesome knee gave him a bad beginning. One he really didn't recover from as the season wore on and took its toll.
50 metres, the drop punt. And I think he's kicked it. A very handy goal on the siren. Begins it with pace. Nearly brought down.
It was centre-half forward John Klug who put the Crows in front. He always manages to be in the right place at the right time. He finished the game with 3 goals and convinced the selectors that he was the right man for the job in the key forward role. He played nearly every game for the Crows in that spot.
And slams it through for a goal. The Crows hit the front. Coming away with a football.
It was a magnificent win for the Adelaide Crows, still battling with who they were and how good they might be. Bruce Linder finished the game with a goal from half forward to guarantee a semi-final berth.
Down towards the Crows, 50.
Another game away at AFL headquarters. This time it was North Melbourne, a game they would remember for a long time. The Crows and the Roos are in many ways similar, both final fringe teams with youngsters still learning the game. The game opened in tough style, something the Roos are renowned for. Hawthorn's Dermot Brereton described the Roos as the toughest tackling team in the AFL. But the Crows found the going up forward far too difficult despite some individually brilliant efforts. The Crows finished with a string of single goal scorers only.
McGuinness battling hard onto that favoured left foot. Short pass into the pocket. Hodges, play on. Touched off McGuinness's boot.
Has to be a
now
free
he
kick.
may get a free kick.
Yeah, it has to be a free kick to Hodges.
So Hodges from deep in that left forward pocket hooks the kick. It's close to the line. Murphy, good play. Good solid mark in the goal square. Schwartz couldn't take it.
Good smother. Here's a chance for Pilkey. Runs to the 50-metre line. Hodges is at the back.
The Crows lost the encounter by 58 points. It was a considerable margin, but written off to experience. Andrew Jarman was best of field for the Crows, and reflecting on the pre-season introduction to the big time, they must have been satisfied and were to wait for a fortnight hence for their first curtain call. The first match of the AFL season on home turf, but what a contract, the mighty Hawks. Chris McDermott was appointed skipper of the Crows during the week leading up to that game.
It was an enormous thrill. I guess it wasn't something you never set out to do those sort of things, and it was a great thrill. But I guess I was lucky in a way. I mean, there were certainly other blokes who had as good a credential to get on. And Tony McGuinness was one that was deserved of the honour to captain the side. And I guess it was a toss-up in the end, and I was lucky to get it. But to have him as vice captain was certainly a great thrill.
The right bloke got the job, really. I mean, he's a traditional type of captain, so I was quite happy to play under him, and we've been friends for a very long time, so it was a good combination, really.
Drunk on adrenaline, players performed at an astonishing level and sent the home crowd into a frenzy of delight.
Punched away, another goal coming out.
Adelaide had 3 players who kicked 4 goals. John Klug, Peter McIntyre, and the uncontrollable Bruce Lindner. It was a spine-tingling thriller at Football Park. The Hawks were fresh off their Foster's Cup win and already early premiership favourites with their new coach Alan Joyce back at the helm. But the Crows made a mockery of the AFL's premier team and enjoyed every minute of their night.
To the front of the goals. No mark taken. At the back, McIntyre. Chance for his third. Handball back into the square. Klug. Left foot is above the goal.
Smith's at the back, couldn't take the mark, but Marshall coming through strongly. Set sail towards Klug at half forward. Over the top he goes. McIntyre. This looks like another one. He shoots. He goes. Sending the Crows in towards full forward once again. Ayres couldn't quite take the mark. Lindner under pressure. Gets claimed, but gets it away. Back it comes to David Marshall. A standing start. A good-looking kick. Well, they can do no wrong.
And do no wrong was an understatement.
The half forward.
Even defender Rod Maynard wanted some of the goal-kicking action.
They've got the players at the drop of the ball. This is Maynard from 50. He's kicked another one. Oh, they're hot. They may not be finished with yet. Klug over the top. Gets it across to McGuinness. Spins out once, twice. Shoots. Oh, he's got it. What a goal.
Pritchard and Pilkey coming in as Kennedy. Collins combines and gets the hand pass away to Robran. Robran short kick. Oh, what a brave, courageous interception by Thompson. He knew he was going to be crunched, but he stood his ground and took the mark well.
But they're just having to look really hard where to go, and they're going short and zigzagging across the ground. They're just being given no latitude whatsoever at the moment by the Crows, who are beating them at their own game.
Oh, what a goal. Smart was in front on that occasion. You don't often see Dunstall caught behind.
Marshall all on his own.
The longer the game went, the better the Crows performed. It seemed there wasn't a thing they couldn't do. Eddie Hocking proves that, taking this mark against ridiculous odds.
Kick towards half forward. Hocking! Whoa, Eddie Hocking!
Smart. Tucked in the back pocket.
Smart looking to give the hand pass away. Lee may get run down. No, he gets the handball away to Andrew Jarman. Andrew Jarman's drop punt kick wide to the wing. Out there is Langford, but chipping in beautifully was Tregenza. Klug. Oh, look, he just looks too good, Klug. Hard. Now Hocking. Goes one way, goes the other. Handballs it away. Here goes Maynard. Into the open goal. There's another one of the Crows. Scintillating football by the Adelaide Crows from one end of the ground to the other. It starts with Smart.
Crows have really done everything right tonight. I haven't found a cheat in the side as the siren goes.
Lindner will want to finish it off. He shoots towards goal. Oh, he finishes it off all right. A marvellous victory for the Adelaide Crows. Bruce Lindner finishes the night with 4 goals. And an 86-point win to the Adelaide Crows in their AFL home and away debut. One more standing ovation for these 20 players. They've worked so hard over the summer. Graham Corns and Neil Curley had to find a team. and then build a team. And it would appear on this ground that they have built and found a formidable combination.
I think we're very, very shell-shocked. You know, it's just one of them nights where nothing went right for us. The Crows put a lot of pressure on us, and they beat us at our own game.
Oh, I think to a man we'd all agree that the Hawthorn game, the first game of the year, was just something that you know, none of us will ever forget. To run out in the ground with the 50-odd thousand people there and to be playing Hawthorn and to play, you know, so well as a team against them was just fantastic. And unfortunately, I didn't remember the last bit of the game, but you know, the way the blokes were celebrating after the game was just fantastic, and that really just gave us a great G along for the rest of the season.
Certainly, the Hawthorn game at the start of the year was a tremendous night for us, and you couldn't have said it any better if you had tried. I mean, the big crowd, the way we played, and beating, of course, one of the teams of the AFL, Hawthorn, was a wonderful night for us.
They combine well.
It might have been considered a nightmare start to the season to play Hawthorn and Carlton in successive weeks, but with their win against Hawthorn the previous week, experts had Adelaide tipped as favourite. The South Australian football headquarters was again filled to capacity, and the Crows got away to a great start. Scotty Hodges had withdrawn from the Hawthorn game and was playing his debut in the home and away series.
AFL season. He's got it. Gleeson forward at
The Blues' Tommy Alvin was given the job on Crows superstar Andrew Jarman, but Jars was just too good early.
Well, it is very hard to apply a tackle in those circumstances. Got a bit of courage there. Plays on immediately. Not a good kick, though. Wastes it. Carlton have got the numbers. Verbeek's hand pass not particularly good.
John Crew continued on from his great pre-season form. Always dangerous, always threatening.
Great stuff by Murphy.
Intercepting is Michael Murphy. Does well. McGuinness from 50 metres. Standing start. Pumps it into full forward. The only man there is the skipper.
And Hopkins also doing well, Sandy. He got in the way of Coonahan and made sure that he couldn't get back to the contest. And he didn't really shepherd him out, but he just made sure that Coonahan could not compete.
Well, he won't miss this one. Directly in front, he goes. The Crows are back in front.
Reynolds dragged off the kick, gained about 10 metres. Tregenza across to Marshall, hoisted high towards centre half forward. Good mark is taken by Darren Smith. Well, they need this one, the Crows. The margin stands at 22 points. Smith has got it.
Dorotich leaving it, taken away by Bartlett. Back towards centre wing. Negri.
Beautiful mark by Negri. Showing some sort of agility there.
Only as far as
The Crows trailed for the better part of the game. Every time they closed the gap, the Blues just simply turned up the heat. Hodges was the best of the Adelaide forwards with 3, while Stephen Kernahan and John Dorotich for the Blues beat at 5 each for Carlton. Ironically, they were to be the difference in the teams.
They've got to find something.
Carlton's form in Adelaide was to be a rare effort during the season to follow. But the record books had them in by 23 points at the completion of the game. I asked Chris McDermott what it was like to play against one of his closest mates, Stephen Kernahan.
Certainly it was a different experience. I haven't played against him since we were, you know, 9 or 10 years old, and to finally play against him and shake his hand in the middle of the ground before the game was certainly a great experience, and he played a fantastic game, and in the end was the difference between the two sides.
Over the ball.
In only their 4th game on the road, the Crows ventured to Sydney. It was their first AFL match for premiership points away from home. Graham Corns has spent the week with Football Park, marked out in the same shape as the Sydney Cricket Ground. It worked a treat as the Crows found the vagaries of the Swans' home very early in the game.
We try the spiral punt again. Yes, he does. And a real bomb right to the centre circle.
Sydney's marketing ace, Warwick Kappa, could have stolen the game for the Swans, but for some very poor kicking. The Crows trailed by 27 points at three-quarter time and had the job well in front of them.
And it goes across the ground. Ball bouncing into open spaces. Filthy will get there first. Picks it up well. Good hip and shoulder by Steve Wright. Likewise, Mitchell. It comes to Smart. Smart right on 50. Goes for home and gets it. Crows getting on top, and a good quarter by them, and one gets the feeling they haven't finished yet. McDermott. There's Hodges. Punched away by Nettlebeck. Maynard, snap. They're in front. On to Rowe, who started on the bench today with Bartlett for the Crows. Maynard from behind. Smith.
It was one game for Scotty Hodges to remember. He finished with 6, all match-winning performance. Darren Smith was voted best of field with Romano Negri. Andrew Jarman and Tony McGuinness saw that the game was put out of reach with some magic individual efforts late. A 24-point win for their first away victory.
After the bounce, Jarman, hurried kick. It bounces through for a goal.
So, I think Bernie, their day is done. McGuinness again. He never stops running, does he? Long shot and an accurate one. That's through.
At the Sydney game, we had quite a reasonable amount of support there in Carlton when we played them at Princess Park later in the year and beat them there. We certainly had, a good 3,000-4,000 people supporting us there, and that really gives you a lift because you'd expect nothing when you go away. And we played at Moorabbin and Windy Hill and Victoria Park and got nothing. There was no one there. But when you can get a little bit and you can walk out in the ground and you can see a couple of banners or some Crows supporters there, it certainly gives the players a real lift. And certainly the games we've mentioned, the players certainly felt a little bit extra there.
It's on before the bell.
Essendon had done their homework to perfection. Coach Kevin Sheedy opened with some tough, roughhouse tactics on Crows Simon Tregenza, which unsettled the visitors enough to get the Bombers away to a dream start. Playing the Bombers at Windy Hill or any AFL team on a suburban ground is tough in Melbourne. For whatever reason, the Crows seem to have more of these scheduled games than most of the AFL teams.
Calling play on. Bickley again, receiving from Lee. Now to half forward. And a good mark by McIntyre. And that's what they need. Smart.
But the Crows hang in, scrambling goals wherever they could. Unfortunately, they remained scoreless for the last term and went down by a rampaging Essendon by 45 points.
McDermott.
Veteran Bruce Lindsay was the best and small man Stephen Rowe a close second. The loss tipped the Crows in 6th position, which they struggled to regain without success for the balance of the season.
Just has to kick it up to Klug and McIntyre. There's some wrestling going on. Here's a chance for McIntyre. Back to Klug. Klug on the left foot, round the corner. This is close. It's a goal. Looks for Langdon with the hand pass.
Haunted by slow starts, the Crows' next appointment was in Perth against the West Coast Eagles. Their home game performance record was nearly faultless. The Eagles hadn't lost a game there since June 1990.
Taken by Danny Hughes.
Micken up towards half-back, towards centre wing. Klug outmanoeuvred by
Injuries
Hines.
were influencing the Crows' selection at this early stage, and changes were made to try and get a better start and a goal kicking forward. Rod Jamieson was moved into the attacking zone, and that was the most positive thing to come from their visit to Perth. The hunt for a better start had eluded them again. In fact, not one goal was recorded for the Crows in the first term. Goals were to follow, though, but all too late.
He has. Adelaide, well, they've fought it right out.
Indeed, they did fight it out, but they had no answer for Brett Hetty, who booted 5, and forward Peter Sumich with 6. The Crows suffered one of their worst losses for the season, 65 points.
Kicked by Clayton Lamb.
Adelaide at home to Footscray, and on Footscray's form of yesterday, that should be an outstanding contest as well. Lee and Smart combined to clear the zone. Strong mark taken by Smith in from the side. Vacant goal square. Great goal,
Tony
Adelaide.
McGuinness was to face his former club Footscray in round 6, and I asked him if he was nervous.
Yes, I was before the game, but I guess, and you know what footy's like, once you get out in the ground, so everybody's fair game, and I was fair game for the 20 of them that day, particularly early, but a couple of lucky breaks sort of early in the second quarter and happened to get a bit of the ball, and it was a hard day. It was certainly harder the first time round than when we played them at the Western Oval second time round, but yeah, it was good to win the game, that's for sure.
Dermott's going to run for it with Lee.
Inspired again by a parochial full house at Adelaide's Footy Park, the Crows picked up their performance from the previous 3 weeks on the road.
Murphy forward, McGuinness on his wrong side. Good kick in the end, a very good kick, and an excellent mark to
Rod Jamieson again impressed at the goal front.
Good handball.
He finished with 4.
Out to Lee, towards centre wing.
They excited their home spectators with some clever handwork and inspirational team football. This time they were able to finish off their work midfield.
Well, it was like being in the trenches for 5 minutes there. Tregenza, a high one. Foster was there. Rowe should kick the goal, left foot, and he does. Missed by Micken. A high one by Baxter. Jarman. Oh, well done. Can read the football. Jarman keeps him there. He's a very good tackler like that, Jarman. He's done that before. Well played, smart.
But the game belonged to Freddie McGuinness. He was determined to prove to himself he had done the right thing, leaving Footscray.
McGuinness with 3 bounces. 2 half-court, flattened McGuinness by Collingwood. Play on play. Marshall's kick is a beauty. A brilliant kick and a great mark by Jamison. Directly in front, and he's put it through.
Goes after it on the ground, battling with Smart, picked up by Rowe. Jarman is a very clever player, sends Filkey away through the middle. Penetrating kick once more into the forward line. Over the top, Jamison had it, almost the mark. It's built out. Swooping on it, McGuinness. McGuinness snaps, gets the goal.
Jarman. Tregenza with some distance. Jamison. Murphy. Goal.
They're a gritty combination, Adelaide. Klug couldn't hang on. Rowe feeds Tregenza. Tregenza from half forward goes down towards the
Jamison and Murphy continued to press home the point, and the Crows went on a goal-kicking spree. These two forwards combined brilliantly, getting a tally of 10 goals between them.
It fell to his advantage. Jamison, good strong mark. There's that man again. Been a good day for the Germans. Swings it out wide. Tregenza against the boundary line. Tregenza pulls it back. Very good.
At every opportunity, the Crows players assisted McGuinness in stitching up his former club. They went on to win by 31 points, playing some of their finest football for the year. Everyone got in on the act. Goals came from all over the ground.
Smothered by Marshall. Chance here for the Crows. The handball away, a good one. Rowe and Filkey to pick it and put it through.
Kellett slides in after that ball. That was dangerous by Thompson. Filkey comes away with it. Well played. And the speedster's away. Around the outer side. A third bounce. Draws a man. Goes over the top. Jamison settles from 25 metres out. Kicked it. Jarman. Lindsay. Props. Smart on the burst. McDermott. Through the middle. Now the long kick. Klug is favoured by the kick. Foster the timely fist. Here's an opportunity. Murphy. He's got it. Bickley's over the ball. They harass him. Marshall's got it. Gets the kick towards half forward. Klug. Oh, great mark.
Wind.
One unbelievable piece of football from McGuinness said it all. 50 metres out, on the boundary line, left foot to the boundary, he goaled.
Spare a thought for that man, Tony McGuinness.
The memento from the Footscray game was that friendships are bigger than terms.
Against old teammates.
I really didn't talk to any of them during the game, but I made a point after the game making sure I went over and shook hands with the guys that I had been close to for 5 years. I mean, that was always pretty important to me.
This is Tregenza. McDermott.
He was back on the road again the following week, this time to Moorabbin. A curse for most other AFL teams. It was to prove the same for the Adelaide Crows.
Straightens up, kicks a goal, and I think it's a goal to the Crows.
The game opened with the locals hailing the return of 2 stars, Nicky Winmar and Tony Lockett. The game was barely 30 seconds old when Plugger goaled, but the Crows battled away. They never recovered from another bad start and trailed 42 points at the first break. Lockett was awesome, and Danny Hughes was the man he did much of the damage on. Hughes was taken for the ground and returned to spend the balance of the day up forward.
Free kick to Hughes. Too high. Drop punt. Good kick, and he's kicked it. So the Crows get their third.
Frankie Conklin got underneath that one. Smart. Gets it to Bickley, then on to Lindsay. Marshall to the half-forward line. The mark has been taken by Klug. Now Klug will kick from 35.
It was a day to forget, but the big men for Adelaide were best. Mark Micken had a real go, and John Klug at half-forward was always a chance to score. But there was little to salvage with a 131-point loss and a drop to 11th on the premiership table.
John Klug kicks a goal, beautiful kick right through the middle.
When we first travelled, we left Saturday morning of the game. You know, blokes were getting up at 7 o'clock when they normally sleep until 9 or 10. And it was just all very rushed early, and I guess we all felt a little bit uncomfortable with it. None of us were relaxed, and I guess the scores on the board that we got a couple of real decent hidings over there in the early part of the year, and it took a little bit of toying with it. We eventually left Friday afternoon about 4:30, got over there by 6, had a decent meal, and just relaxed. Sometimes went to the basketball, went to the pitches, or just stayed around the hotel and watched TV. And certainly by the Richmond game, the North Melbourne game over there, it was a lot more relaxed, and you know, it really showed in the performances on the ground. The blokes pretty well did as they would normally do at home. You know, there were a few differences, but we felt, you know, pretty well like a home environment, and that certainly showed.
Coming off a rest the week before, refreshed and enthused, the Crows tripped east again to clash with finals contenders North Melbourne.
Filkey, the recipient.
Their first game at the hallowed MCG. Some say if you can't play footy here, you just can't play.
I'd like to see Hodges.
The outer resembled any uncompleted building site, and the old girl was far from well dressed. But the Crows had bigger worries. The Roos had embarrassed them at Waverley in the Foster's Cup, and they set out for an equaliser. Michael Murphy was becoming Adelaide's most prominent forward. He featured again in the difficult night conditions, but he was reported during this fixture. He missed the next 3 games after booting 4.
What a huge pack of players in there. Oh! A goal off the ground. It is. So Adelaide hit back.
Kept on by Filkey. Park back to Filkey. They're looking good, Adelaide. Out to the wide open spaces. As we see Tregenza, he's very, very quick. He ran away from Swass. Abernathy back to Tregenza. That's great play by the Crows. The short one is on. Here's the lead. Oh, great pass, and McIntyre is marked. Peter McIntyre, a chance to put the Crows 2 goals in front just before half-time. There's the kick, a beautiful kick. It's a goal.
Comes out in the sleeveless jersey. This is Chandler. Hooks the ball across his body. Abernathy, right on the boundary line. He goes for distance with the kick. It's not a bad sort of a roost, that, but I think he's put it through. Great goal if it is.
Bickley saving the day for the Crows. Good play with a sweeping hand pass. As it comes out towards McGuinness, then on to Hart. Chris McDermott played a good game. He goes short. Lindner, Klug. The Crows go forward again. Some wrestling going on. Martin at the back. Murphy at the front. Here's a chance for Liptak again. Around the corner goes McIntyre. Is that a goal? Yes.
McGuinness.
The Adelaide boys handled the wet ball well, used possession football and forced a 20-point advantage at three-quarter time break. If the Crows were to ever use the phrase, it's a learning experience, that was the night.
Is not bad, and a goal. Klug, good hand pass onto Filkey, inside 50, long kick up towards full forward, almost a
An early goal to Hart, and they took some comfort breaks, which allowed the Roos the little they needed to get back into business.
Full points. Bruce Abernathy kicked 2 delightful goals tonight. Centering kick, Hodges.
Good full forward. He gets in front too.
Kick number 6 for Scott Hodges. And I think he's kicked the goal. He has.
As the seconds ticked away, Adelaide were hanging on. Not trying to win, it proved disastrous. 2 bad errors, and the Roos stole the game on the siren. Former South Australian Wayne Carey was sensational for North Melbourne in his dying minutes. He kicked 2 long goals and pinched the lead.
As we see Wayne Carey from 40 metres directly in front. The kick is close. It's a goal. North Melbourne hit back hard. Gallagher, a hurry kick to the half-forward line. Carey the mark.
Well, Pretty's going to make the distance from here.
The Roos forward John Longmire booted 6 that evening, but Carey was the hero.
There's the drop punt, beautiful balance, and I think he's put it through. He has. North Melbourne by a point.
Good mark.
And Micken drops back to take a very safe mark. The time might have been Adelaide. He goes to the member stand side, looking for Smart. There's the play, and there's the siren. North Melbourne have stolen the game from Adelaide by 2 points. 18-12 to 18-10. And the Adelaide players still can't believe it.
The Crows' feelings were openly displayed by their skipper, Chris McDermott, as they fell to 12th on the ladder, the lowest point of the season.
Well, they really did. If ever I've seen a game stolen, that was stolen tonight.
It was a game we dominated, I felt, pretty well all night, bar the last 10 or 15 minutes. And we've copped some fairly large hidings over there, but personally, I found that game as disappointing one to lose and as demoralising as any that we'd lost throughout the year. And it hit home to the players. I think that, you know, it was tough, and we just had to. You have to concentrate 120 minutes. You can't have 5 minutes rest. You can't go for a ball half pace. You can't do anything easy. You've got to be flat out the whole time, and there's no rest until the final side goes. And we bounced back the week after, and certainly the next time we went to Melbourne, I think we were a different side.
The challenge for the Crows was obvious, and by chance their next game was at home against the Demons. The forward line was functioning well. Scotty Hodges and Rod Jamieson were combining, and the home side was determined to steal the points against the more favoured Melbourne Football Club.
There's another one on the board for the Crows.
This is Liptak swinging round onto the left foot. The short one is on Hodges. Oh, great lead, great mark. And that is copybook forward play.
Melbourne will have to make a change because Filkey's the one who's setting it up, and it's Brett Lovett who's got the job, I think. I think it's Brett Lovett's got the job on Filkey.
Well, Hodges needs this goal to get his confidence going. His kicking has been indifferent at times. There's the drop punt. That's a beautiful kick. It's a goal.
It will come back and go the way of the Crows.
The Crows' little men were on fire. Eddie Hocking, Darryl Hart and Tony McGuinness gave their attacking players a great deal of the ball.
Tucked on the 50-metre line. Goes for the centering kick. And there's that man again. Jamieson dropped it. He recovered and look at his gun. Oh!
Scott Lee, he's looking to, he should just kick it long. Now he does, to the half-forward line. Oh, there could have been a free kick. There was a mark or a free kick. Eddie Hocking, or was it a holding on decision before that? No, he's paying the mark to Hocking.
And you guessed it, Eddie did it again. It's his hometown act, and wonders will never cease that opponents don't expect it. The crowd love it.
McGuinness, penetrating hand pass. Liptak. McGuinness from Marshall. Inside 50. Jamieson with a one hand. Pushes it down for Hart. Hart shoots for goal. And bang! There's another one for Crows. McGuinness, always a hard worker. Filkey gets it away. Marshall pulls it back.
While Hodges and Jamieson finished with 3 goals each, Nigel Smart was never embarrassed to venture forward.
40 metres out directly in front. Directly in front. There's another one. The Crows are looking good. Love it. Kick well smothered. That would find Maynard. Now McDermott.
But some of the aerial displays from Hodges had all the Adelaide fans begging for more.
Oh, what a scream! And the crowd rises as one.
They desperately want goals. Beveridge in trouble. Spoons it out. But straight to Jamieson. Kick in towards Hodges. Well, we're seeing now his marking power, Donald.
Yes, strong mark. A strong mark. There he is. He certainly has got a leap.
Can't take it. Bickley does it again. He gets him going. Clune just outside 50. Set sail for home. Long kick by John Clune. Hodges! Eventually it's Lee who gets it out. They're out of trouble once again. Bickley sends them on their way to McGuinness. The pair combine, and they're out of strike to McDermott.
Oh, that's great play. Back to Bickley from Chris McDermott. Beautiful pass. This is good play.
The Crows won by 34 points. The Crows have developed a reputation in the AFL as a side with electric hands and reflexes. First given plenty of options. It was their trademark, and few argue that they were the most skillful team in the AFL.
The enormous strength that Adelaide have got, both from a corporate and supportive base, is just enormous, and it's a great thrill to play in front of that 45,000 every second week.
Look at the big men struggling.
The Melbourne game had restored some confidence and improved their position on the ladder to 9th. But they faced another trip, arguably the competition's worst ground for opposition clubs, the Cats Gardenia Park. It was a bad day. Nothing went right. More importantly, the Crows didn't force any advantage at all. It was a poor effort following the elation from the previous week.
He had the opportunity there, and again the tackling of the Adelaide side. Maynard there applying their tackle with McGuinness. They've got 2 or 3 players who are prepared to work at getting in there and making sure that the players don't break clear.
Bickley over the top of it. Liptak comes through, gets the hand pass off to Klug, wider to Filkey. Filkey on the right half-forward flank, centering kick.
Tony McGuinness was again a bright light for the Adelaide side, and with Bruce Abernathy, was rated best for the Crows.
He does.
Favouring the Adelaide Crows. Hinkley can't get through. Abernathy gets his foot to the ball quickly. Up to full forward. Neal falls over. McGuinness. Snapshot by Tony McGuinness is good. Well done, Adelaide Crows. Runs around his opponent. He's approaching the centre of the ground. Kicks it long towards
Bruce Linder was in the best players on his return to his AFL club. They welcomed him back with the Bronx salute every time he gathered a possession. But he did show the Cats he'd lost none of his brilliance from the mid-80s when he signed with Geelong. The skipper was very diplomatic regarding changes the Crows had to make to accommodate AFL umpiring styles.
Well, certainly, especially early in the season, they were very strong on the holding the ball, the player diving on the ball, which I guess had been part of my game personally for a few years now, just to get at the footy. And normally in Adelaide you're given time to get it, dispose of it. Where there, if you dived on it, you're a free game. Blokes could jump on your back and just hammer you, and you had no real safety or no protection in there. If you were caught, then that was holding the ball, and that was your bad luck. And they certainly slackened off on that as the year progressed, and by halfway through the year, you know, it was pretty well what we'd become accustomed to. The game was certainly a lot more physical over there than in South Australia, and I guess that the flowing footy that we've been used to over here was certainly not the same over there. It's far closer quartered footy, where it was important to get the ball and give it straight away, and you had no real time to do anything with it apart from get on your boot or by hand.
The play on towards centre.
Round 12 and the Crows were again with their backs to the wall, but they had the hometown support, always their saviour. Fitzroy, plagued by financial strife and viability problems, came to Adelaide confident they could get the money, and they very nearly did. The Roys were on top all night, but the Crows were always within striking distance. It was another nocturnal game, and the selectors opted for the small man troubleshooters, Eddie Hocking and Matthew Liptak.
Offered forward by Liptak, past Hocking. He's got to chase Paxman. Eddie's away now. Hocking with one socker, Lynch another, and socker through for a goal by Liptak. Tucked in the back pocket, Jimmy Wine. Pulls it round his body. Klug wants to go on with it quickly, goes right across the ground. Good mark. So Rod Jamieson is going to be kicking from 50 metres.
I think he's got tremendous vision, Klug. When he does get the ball, he hardly ever wastes it.
Margin at the moment is 9 points. An important kick with 9 minutes remaining. And the struggle for the distance. I think he may have just snuck it home.
Is this the last hurrah for the Crows? Maynard appealing for the free kick, and he's got it. Advantage paid. Liptak. Well, that was no real advantage to them on that occasion. He's got 4 to beat, 5 to beat. Here's Marshall. What a strong tackle. What a magnificent free kick. Let it go. Oh, that was a magnificent tackle. I'd love to have a look at this. Watch this. Bang. Oh, great tackle. He's been penalised.
And the clock ticking down, 1 minute 20.
Well, he's directly in front, Marshall, and I think he's popped it through for a goal, so the game's not over yet.
It certainly wasn't, as the Crows stayed at the task. They had learned a most valuable lesson at the MCG a few weeks earlier against the Roos.
Don't tell me they're going to pinch this.
44 seconds remaining. And
they've got to get a goal. They've got to get a goal.
Well, he's a long, long way out. He just kicks over the centre. They need a mark.
Hold.
Another free kick.
Oh,
another free kick.
He was held initially.
30 seconds remaining. Jarman, he's got to go long.
Why did he go out there?
He's gone to Paul Roos, who couldn't take the mark. But Roos tries to bottle it up.
Now, boys, going to hold it. Oh, this is murder.
Call it what you like, but the best man was in control. Rod Jamieson is a very skilled player with a very deep and very long range.
If they win this game, it's been pinched, absolutely stolen by...
Well, it's going to be the last kick of the day. This is going to be the last kick.
Well, watch this on replay.
Look at it.
He's tried to make an effort.
Well, Jamieson I'll tell you what.
Might have been for a throw.
They've got the best guy having the kick. He is a great kick. Is he going the torpedo punt?
No. The siren has gone. The siren has gone. This kick, if it's a goal, will win the match for the Crows from 47 metres.
It'll make the distance.
Oh, he's kicked it. They stole it. It's a goal.
Absolute murder.
The mood was magnificent.
Absolute murder.
That's if you were a Crow, but many of them had left, fearing the worst.
Well,
Apart from the doubt over the free kicks, the lesson learned against North had stuck. A 3-point win.
Stunned because the better side lost, and I reckon that was absolute daylight robbery.
well, Jamieson has kicked 3 goals, and the Adelaide Crows, well, that's the biggest robbery I've seen since the Great Train robbery.
Come on, 3 free kicks in a minute, and every one of them doubtful. That is murder.
Well, the Fitzroy players naturally stuck.
I won't say any more, but you saw it for yourself.
Well, you're the comments man, Don. Say something.
Don, say something.
Well, I'm speechless. I just cannot believe it. What can you say? I mean, the picture told the story. I thought that free kick on Marshall was really very, very, very doubtful. And that one, I don't know why he gave that. Was it a throw? Because he was attempting to get rid of the ball from underneath. But the umpire gave the signal like dropping the ball or holding the ball.
We'll throw to Matt Stevens down the boundary, who's got Rodney Jamieson with him.
Well, we're trying to get him, actually. I've lost him. We're in the middle of the crowd here. Jamo, congratulations. I mean, that's one kick, son, you'll never forget.
Mate, I won't forget that one for a long time. Don't worry about that.
Well, you obviously heard the siren go. What was going through your mind?
Mate, all I was worried about is just kicking that goal.
What? Hey, honestly, you'll never forget it?
No, I won't.
Well, you came from behind and you did it. Well done.
Thanks,
a big night tonight?
It will be.
I'm sure it will be. But, well, I think everyone's, the Crow fans naturally are absolutely elated.
They should never have won it.
But let's have a look at the kick. It's a good, very, very good kick.
Yeah, like, you've got to give credit to the man who had the kick, don't you?
Well, he's
really
the best kick in the team.
That was a terrific kick.
The Fitzroy game, when we played so badly all night, and the last couple of minutes, you know, through Rod Jamieson and David Marshall, Jamo to kick the goal after the siren was certainly a highlight.
Kick to centre wing.
The Crows were back to Melbourne the following week for a clash with the Tigers on their home ground, the MCG. To date, a Melbourne victory had eluded them. They were getting the hang of the concentration and commitment required to win in the AFL, and they put their heads down for a tough day.
Andrew Jarman from 50 metres out. Not a bad kick by the number 2. Micken punched away by Cloak. The race on now. McGuinness, can he get the goal? No, the hand pass goes to Marshall. Marshall's left foot kick. Great kick by David Marshall's a brilliant goal.
Right down the ground. Marshall and/or Jarman, they combined well. Jarman's kick, beautifully delivered on a wet day, and the mark taken by Jamieson, who kicks, and he's kicked truly.
Next goal will win the game.
And this is going to be a very handy one, Robbo, isn't it? This could be it here. Over the top, Hodges. Has he made amends? The umpire says it's a goal.
Chipping in is Filkey. His kick is not too bad. Centre-half forward, Gather Hocking. Handball to Hart. Hart's short pass is pretty good. And I reckon this bloke's playing...
Andrew Jarman and Mark Micken were the heroes for the day. A day when the Crows struck yet another first in their history books with a 38-point win in Melbourne.
He's been well beaten by Lambert, but I think that's a goal. He's slotted that one, and that is the Seaver.
When they probably sat down at the start of the first season, there weren't many guys available, and really they basically got everybody that was available, the 4 of us, Micken, Hughes, Linda and myself. So I guess there was great pressure on the 4 of us, really. It just happened that, you know, a couple of the other boys had injuries and that type of thing, so perhaps they weren't there for the whole year. But certainly Micken was, and he had a great year. But, oh yeah, I guess I felt the pressure, but as the season got on and some of the other guys came to the fore, Jarman, McDermott, these type of guys were obviously great players as well, and the opposition knew that, the pressure sort of subsided a little bit, and they couldn't just sit down and pick one player out. They really had to go for 4 or 5, and that's the way it turned out as the year went on.
The slow crawl back from 12th spot took a turn for the better with the arrival of the Bears in Adelaide. The win would make it 3 in a row and retrieve yet more face on the premiership table.
It's a goal. Crows have it and going backwards, losing ground in possession. And now McDermott. Oh, Champion drops an easy mark. Liptak whips it out to Klug, who snapped truly.
Now an opportunity for McDermott. McDermott steadies, boots it down towards the pocket. Gastiff and Hart knocked away by the defender. Liptak with dash. Jamison does well. Here's Hodges, 15 metres out. He's kicked a goal.
Champion. A lot harder than the players thought. McLean pushed out.
Who's getting the
free kick to Jarman?
No, McLean really didn't go on that occasion. He should have gone.
Didn't look at the ball at all, did he?
It wasn't a good effort. Not a good effort. All he did was tip Jarman up. Gave away the free.
So the kick to Andrew Jarman. Puts it out in front of the goal square. Jamison up early. Liptak a goal.
This is good stuff. Gastiff has the ball. That's ambitious. Now he's in trouble.
Stupid.
Oh, dear. Marshall to Jamison. Inside intended for Maynard. All turned around now. Brisbane. Filkey. 35 metres out. He gets it. Well, John Gastiff made a terrible mistake there.
He went down the centre, but only about 30
Darryl
metres.
Hart joined Scotty Hodges on his goal-kicking spree, finishing with 4 himself.
Puts it down. Merritt. Didn't leave the ground. Hart again. Snaps. That's close. It's good.
And Marshall right in front.
David Marshall and Mark Micken took the honours as best players in the Crows' third win on the trot. This one by 66 points, and now the finals race was a reality.
His confidence is starting to rise, Drew.
Well, lining up for goal number 7. And he was goalless, nearly kickless to half-time. 7 straight.
Touch away by Christian.
Confidence was up as the Crows headed for suburban Melbourne again. To the most field of all ground.
Filkey's got the ball in the centre of the ground. Good
Sean
pass.
Tasker played his first game for the Crows, and it's one he won't ever forget. The teams lined up, and the youngster could hardly believe his eyes as Peter Dacos was his man.
Accuracy is pretty good as well. First goal at Adelaide.
The Crows got a taste of their own medicine at Victoria Park. A partisan, parochial and vicious crowd. They gave the Crows and its coaching staff a rousing welcome to the home of football, as they would have all Australian football fans believe.
The ball didn't get up very high on that occasion. And there's a free kick coming. A little doubtful.
Would be a valuable one for the Crows if he can put it through. He kicks and it looks pretty good from here. It's there.
And Maynard kicks it high, inside 50 metres. Good mark.
Well done.
Good effort by Hodges.
Yeah. He's playing with a lot more confidence. McEwen had his back to play there. He was watching Hodges, and that's a compliment to him to have your
Hodges' confidence was still gaining some momentum despite the lack of chances. And young Sean Tasker showed he had no stage fright at all. What a mark. He was best for the Crows on the day.
A great mark.
The Adelaide team managed only 5 goals and went down by a staggering 131 points.
Waverley and the MCG didn't hold the fears for us that the local grounds did. The Windy Hill, Moorabbin, Victoria Park, exceptionally hard grounds to play on. The surface over there is so much different to what we're used to in Adelaide. I mean, we have wet weather here, but the tracks are nowhere near as boggy. I mean, you sink 3-4 inches into the ground over there, and it really takes a bit of getting used to, and certainly the players found it really hard to acclimatise themselves to those conditions, and the support that the local clubs get over there is just fanatical, and it certainly took its toll on all of us.
Langford, and the kick just...
The following week it was back to Melbourne. Barely time to gather their wits after the Collingwood thrashing, and they were faced with the mighty Hawks. The memory of Adelaide and Dermot Brereton's suspension fixed firmly in the Hawks' mind. They wanted to square the ledger. It was the Crows' first home and away game at Waverley, and their first quarter was to cost them the game. Hawthorn piled on, 8 goals 11, while the Crows could only manage 1 point. It was the end of the match.
Slightly misjudging it. Couldn't get his hands on the ball, Michael Tuck. Didn't get him up there to contest. And well done, Murphy, to hold that ball.
30 metres out. Should not miss from there, and does not.
Lawrence showing a bit of agility, but this time he's beaten for it by Micken. Ball's over. It's the hand pass out to McDermott. In turn to Kelly. Kelly's pass is pretty good. He finds there Liptak. Liptak in turn.
While Daryl Hart joined the goal scorers from some great team play, the major contributor for the Crows was Rod Jamieson. He belted through 4 and was fast becoming the focus for the Crows up
Get a
forward.
lot of distance. Jarman does it nicely. Finds Liptak. A high kick in towards full forward.
Oh, good mark.
Good mark taken by Jamieson again.
Just used the body terrific then to get his opponent out of the way. Jinky, was it? Yes.
Well, he's a fine player, actually, Jamieson.
Not to celebrate his 21st birthday. What can he do here? He's put it straight through the middle. Handy goal to the Crows. But it's straight to Fielke. He's under pressure. Back
Mark
pedals
Bickley and Wayne Wiedemann combined well in defence. It was Wiedemann's debut for the Crows. But both he and Bickley were injured, along with Matthew Kelly, David Marshall, Chris McDermott and Tony McGuinness.
Directly in front, and he has put that one through for a goal. Inside 50, McGuinness waiting down. Quickly claimed, however. Some real desperation still in that Hawthorn defence. Off hands it comes towards Murphy, who snaps in towards goal and has kicked it.
Morrissey worries him out of it on this occasion. Left foot kick by Morrissey to full forward. That's nearly a mark.
Nigel Smart in defence showed plenty of dash as usual. But Tony McGuinness and Andrew Jarman were voted best for the Crows.
Crows mounting something once again. Kick it towards half forward. The mark is taken by Jamieson. Out to Smart. Big punch from behind. Great play. Bickley's there to help him out. Left foot kick into the centre has been marked by Daryl Hart. Hart now with the right foot. Short pass is okay. Mark to McDermott. Goes back to Hart. Hart on the left foot. Short pass. Jamieson marks. But Jamieson won't have any trouble with the distance and doesn't have any trouble whatsoever with the accuracy. 4 goals.
On centre wing.
The most frustrating element of the Crows' performances in their first season had been slow starts. It was addressed by the match committee several times seriously, but never more than for the Princes Park game. The media had centred on the problem, and the message was very clear that a stronger, less timid approach would be adopted against the Blues.
Well, a huge pack of players finally socked away by McIntyre. Klug, a quick kick into the forward pocket. The ball drops. Verbeek should get there first. Madden does the shepherding. Verbeek still trying to pick the ball up. Finally scooped it out to Madden. Could have almost been a throw, and Guy says the umpire. Bernie?
There was a terrible shepherd in that by Lennox.
That's exactly... I thought the bad shepherd was actually by Justin Madden. Because there were 3 players there, 3 Carlton players against 1 Adelaide Crows
He
player.
should never have got anywhere near it.
Well, I agree. I agree. They just didn't work hard enough to put that shepherd on.
Liptak in towards the forward pocket. Mark to Klug. Klug plays on and kicks a goal. Great kick, Johnny Klug.
Kernahan D. Kicks in. And Murphy at the back. We believe Murphy may have had his number taken earlier in the quarter.
He certainly did have his number taken at the start of the match, and so should a few more. It was a very clumsy opening, one hopefully that was not orchestrated exactly as it was executed. As usual, Adelaide's defence was sound. Scott Lee had an outstanding season, playing all the games. And a latecomer to the Crows lineup, David Brown, was gradually making an impact.
He's gone for the hand pass over to McIntyre. And the Crows get clear. Micken, second kick for the quarter. Oh, Klug put the body in front, and you must play in front today. The Johnny Platten look-alike. Brown, 20 metres from goal for the Crows fourth, and gets it. Alden gets clear.
Lee's maiden defence, Sean Tasker, was settling down to becoming a very reliable defender. And many of the Crows' attacks started right here.
Madden's kick to centre half forward, no mark taken. Ball slips through the back. Cavidon and Maynard, gathered by Smart. Murphy pulled, but he gets his kick away. Chance for Tregenza, tackled by Gleeson, but good running by Smart. Handball in towards the centre. Liptak, short McIntyre, Klug. There's no one home. This may roll through. It does. Good goal, Klug.
His second. David Kernahan kicks in.
And he goes basically up the centre of the ground, but a good mark taken there by Maynard. He's about 70 metres from goal. Jarman kicks it well within scoring distance now. Adelaide mark taken by Jamieson. It was a good one.
It was usually a reliable kick, but
Andrew Jarman was again best with Rod Maynard right behind him. But the bad news was both Murphy and Clue got gains for striking. But the win made it all seem worthwhile.
Filkey goes through solidly.
Paul McDermott on Kernahan. Tough stuff there. McDermott saying that he should get a free kick. It's a 50-metre penalty.
50 metres, yes.
Kernahan had to go up McDermott initially because of that very strong tackle on Bond.
Watch it again in replay, Bernie.
And yes, initially Kernahan came in. That was good, tough stuff by McDermott on that tackle on Bond.
He hit me first, so I was just squaring the ledger, that's all. It cost us 50 and nearly cost us a goal. So Mrs. Kernahan was most upset that she thought the two boys were fighting and there was some problem between us all, but it was all a bit of fun.
What do you value the breeze
With the final still a reality for the Crows, the next two games at home forced the fans out in their thousands. The breeze was to make the day very difficult for both sides, but the score proved the visitors handled the conditions better than the Crows.
Well, I think it's a bit loose on conditions like this, Robbo. I wouldn't think so, no, but he's paid it. And what they've got to do now, of course, would you see it again, would you pay it? Oh, no, actually, that's a better effort than I thought.
Jamieson for his first from...
Rod Jamieson got them started and finished with 6. Scotty Hodges had made the press the previous week. He was undecided about his future with the Crows, but the Adelaide board enforced his contract and he responded well.
Over the past couple of weeks, he was out with the flu. Then, as we look at it in replay, we learned of the disenchantment he had with the club. Roscoe, what would you have done in those circumstances?
Well, harshly, in my situation, I wouldn't have played him because I don't think you can do that. And but the selectors are obviously under pressure.
Well,
together with Rod Jamieson, they provided an avenue to goal all day.
Jim West is one of probably 7 or 8 Swans that would know this ground reasonably well, and Maynard and Micken combining on the outer side. They're out of trouble once again. And a good mark taken by Hodges. Kick coming from Bickley. Hodges way down on the wing. Looks for and finds Jamieson. Just over 8 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Quarter that so far
young Matthew Liptak Gold. Who says luck doesn't help?
And they continue to dominate. Tregenza waits down, then stabs goalwards. In towards the square he goes. 3 Swans players there. Hodges did well. It's going to waddle through, is it? That is Rod Jamieson again. Dale Lewis, very skillful young player, but Jarman, look at him swoop on it and get it out to Lee. Off to Tregenza. Away they go again. Towards the half-forward line. Oh, what a fly by Matthew Liptak.
Exciting player, isn't he? But Jarman's ability to slide onto the football like that and have clean possession, not fumble once, then get it off again whilst he's on the ground, set that up beautifully. And they'll always have the runners out wide, like Tregenza and co, to deliver up forward.
Liptak going for his second. Kicking from 48 metres. Drop punt looks pretty good, just drifting away. And 1 behind. No! Now, how could you work that out? Maynard
again and again, the defence returned the opposition's attacks with pace to give the forwards a one-out contest.
Probably gave away a metre or so, but Smart is on his own at half-back and runs to the wing. Beautiful kick. Brown running into 50 metres. Brown's left foot kick into the pocket.
Peter McIntyre finished with 4 and another good display in the forward zone.
Arrogant too, aren't they? The Crows with their play. McIntyre's shot from an impossible angle. It's a goal. But the mark is taken by Lee. Sums it up pretty quickly as he came to ground, gave it to Filkey. In turn to Tasker. In turn to Maynard. Oh, Tregenza just could have done the hamstring easily then, but Tasker's run on beautifully from half-back. And he's kicked a goal. Great football by Sean Tasker. With under 7 minutes remaining in this second quarter. Smart was the big fly. Waiting at the back was McDermott. Now he's got his vice-captain running with him. Into Maynard. Back to McGuinness. This is wonderful football. Tony McGuinness floats it through for another one. It doesn't come any better than that.
No, it doesn't come any better than that. And the Crows win at half-time with a 21-point break. The last term was sensational. But the Crows had blown so many chances in front of goal with poor kicking, they were in a lot of trouble.
Over the centre, and Maynard takes the mark on the outer side. Sweeps it on for Tasker, who's run on down. Sean Tasker with the left foot is high. In towards the pocket region. Hodges! What a mark! Grant Milky's away. Higgins can't get a clear run at him. Kicks in towards half forward. Jamison is there. Couldn't take it. Tui bottles it up. You want to be careful, Bernard. You've lost it. Here's Jamison. He's kicked it. Jamison has booted 6. Last 38 seconds and counting down. Sydney have it within 10 metres of their scoring zone. Can someone do something? There's a free kick to Sydney. It's going to be a free kick.
Over the shoulder.
It'll come back. Gee, there's quiet. 27 seconds remaining.
Yeah,
they won't be quiet now.
Mitchell got the free kick over the shoulder.
Barry Mitchell. People leaving. This is going to be a very important kick for you, my boy. Mitchell, to the boos of the crowd, has put it straight through the middle, and Sydney have hit back and hit the lead. Barry Mitchell has booted 2. And that is going to be the ball game.
The finals and the top part of the finals, and up until about, well, probably the Sydney game here, we had every chance of making it. Unfortunately, form and injuries and some other incidentals, we fell by the wayside a little bit. And I think it's probably more that the year had been so long and hard. I mean, I only got back in December, but guys have been going since early October, and it's such hard work, you know, both on and off the ground, and there was so much pressure both on and off the ground. I think we just probably fell away a little bit late in the year, which is probably to be expected. But at the start of the year, when some of the scribes were talking about winning 4 or 5 games, I mean, maybe perhaps they just don't understand anything about the game, because to play at home, and we knew the crowds were going to be huge, and from the state games in the past, we know how much the guys lift. Well, we're always going to be very hard to beat here against any side. It's just a matter of picking up 2 or 3 along the way in Melbourne, and we happen to do that. So 10 and 12, 10 wins, 12 losses is probably not a bad year, but we would like to have been the other way round.
What'll the champ do? He wants to
The next game was at Football Park, and the Bombers at Adelaide still trying to find some late-season consistency. But Football Park is no place for that.
So Micken to get the free kick.
Injuries were now a major issue with the Crows, and they were to lose Mark Bickley, Matthew Liptak and David Brown, in addition to the long list of convalescing Crows. The president, Bruce Linder, was in great touch. He led the goal scorers with 5 on the day.
Off the ground by Chris
Backman Nigel Smart had developed into one of the AFL's most respected defenders. His pace and timing are immaculate.
That at school, Don. Here's Smart, who runs too far and gets away with it. Hodges. Well, he hasn't kicked a goal, but it's been his best effort so far this season for winning the football. Long kick, beautiful kick to Jamison. What a great kick.
That was a magnificent kick. Nearly 60-odd metres out in front.
Micken off one leg and just kicks it high in the air. Hodges underneath it. Confident take with his hands, long way out. Again, a thumping kick to fall forward. Wren back there, punched away by Somerville. Kransberg let it drop in a hurry. Oh, lovely take by Hocking, but ran into a couple of brick walls. McIntyre round the body and kicks a goal.
The Crows trailed at half-time by 19 points, but slammed through 8-6 in the third term. Are forced to finish the game with only 17 fit men, but held on by 27 points.
Now Micken, good kick to the goal square. Madden, McIntyre left foot. Will this go through? Yes, Hodges a goal.
Jamison is loose. Lindner is breaking. Jamison puts it out in front. Can Lindner reach it? Yes, he can. Well,
he's got Cookie if he wants to go on with it. He's got back to goal.
What about that diving effort from Lindner?
Sensational.
Like Alan Border, it slipped.
And here he is. He launches himself. Oh, terrific stuff.
Will he kick his third?
He has.
Scores a level at the park. Hodges, who may be the hero tonight. Very high and long. Wren sets himself. Brown. Hocking. Quick give to McIntyre. Back to Wren. Clever. Brown, they're trying to get it out. Brown with a little one. Jamison's give to Jarman to kick the goal in front.
How the worm has turned. What great mark by Micken.
Not easy when you've got Madden and Somerville and they're both closing on you.
No, it was a great effort. Micken, for the first 3 seasons, the Bears skipper, and he used the ball so well. Jamison, a crowd favourite. Goes in short. Maynard.
Those signs don't look good.
It's coming unglued for the Bombers at the present time. And this will be their 5th goal of the term. Maynard, a goal-kicking defender, if you don't mind. It's jumping at Football Park. Harvey goes down. Maynard to Brown. Jarman unloads for a long kick. Izzard goes back. Great mark in front. Lindner.
Playing inspired football, chock full of confidence. And
Lindner completed an exceptional quarter of football, keeping the Crows in the finals race.
This will be the 8th of the term, Don.
And when he's good, he is very good, Bruce Lindner.
Generally a big game player too. Directly in front, 35 metres out. It's another one.
One of the real highlights of the year was actually the game that I missed out on when we played Essendon out here. And at half-time, we were probably 4 or 5 goals down and just didn't look like winning the game. And, you know, things were a bit quiet in the rooms and, you know, Graham said a few words and I was, you know, pretty pumped up and I had a couple of words as well. And the guys went out and I reckon that 3rd quarter was probably the best quarter footy I've seen all year. And I had young Bickley and Littech sitting on the bench with me. They were both injured and couldn't play out. And the 3 of us were just going berserk and really egging the guys on. And it was a great performance, a real gutsy effort, you know, and the best I've seen for a very long time.
The trendsetters for 1991, the West Coast Eagles flew into Adelaide, confident they could overcome the local fans and the dreaded Football Park hoodoo.
And Matera at centre field. Low trajectory kick, understandable in view of the conditions.
Mark Micken had led the rucks for the best part of the year and as usual gave the running players the first use of the ball.
Wiedemann does the shepherding, keeps Lamb at bay and does well. Centering kick, beautifully delivered, Jamison.
He could probably get the distance.
Well, look at that. He's got the distance. It's a goal. Great kick.
McDermott gets it away. Tasker over the top. Here's Hart. The Crows coming back strongly in the last 5 minutes, having a good patch. Down towards Hodges. Still he goes, Hodges. 40 metres out. Bacon goal square. Bounces one through.
Langdon in front. Maynard over the top. Good mark.
There's a line running down the ground, this fellow.
Yes, he's come down to kick a few goals. Maynard, 55 out. Breeze behind him.
The Crows trailed by 11 points at 3/4 time. But the wind was playing havoc with the majority of the score being kicked at the southern end of the ground, as the skipper shows.
McDermott, 50 metres out, a question of accuracy, and this one has got it.
Tregenza runs off it. Klug. McGuinness. 25-metre hand pass. Now comes back to Tregenza. Another hand pass. This time to Jarman. Turns around, kicks.
Lost it then, though. Lamb, Kemp in trouble. Hart at close quarters. McGuinness. The Crows go forward again. Jarman is down there. Clever mark behind. Well, the 87 McGarry medalist putting on a clinic in that area at the present time. To McDermott, long bomb goal.
Klug. Look for the hand pass. Big Wren. Wisely leaves it for McDermott, the skipper. Onto his left foot. Great kick. To McDermott.
In goes Pike. Hocking swoops, keeps it in front. Waters, cannons into him. Jarman stands in the tackle, gets it across to Hodges. Now Micken. Micken to Klug. Easy as you like, another one. Knocked on by Matera. In goes Maynard. He's slung. Waters approaches the ball. Missed it. Tregenza has a chance. Quick hands. Gets it up to Hocking. He was stripped by Waters and will get the free. Eddie Hocking does this so often. Runs around Waters. Good-looking kick. It's a goal.
He plays on now. Crows.
The week prior, young Sean Wren had made his debut against the Sydney Swans. Rarely has a big man made such an impact so quickly.
First goal. It's coming around. And there's a goal.
I really believe we were one of the fittest sides, if not the fittest side in the competition. We rarely ran out of legs through games. We always ran them out well and seemed to recover very well the next day. I think the main difference was we concentrated fairly heavily on weights, but that's a 2-3 year program. I think you don't get the strength and the body size, in 3 or 4 months. And hopefully, as the West Coast Eagles have, we'll progress next year, and the year after we'll be stronger and bigger and can match them physically as well as in the aerobic area.
Nearly a mark to Eppleton from
the Crows still had a silly chance of making the finals, but they would have to win in Melbourne against the Bulldogs. The Crows vice-captain, Tony McGuinness, was to return to the scene he has stored so many memories away at, Western Oval. Again, it would be an emotional day for him, as the crowd were far less emotional and supportive than his South Australian fans. Wayne Wiedemann was back in business and played his heart out for the Adelaide side. But the day was to go against the Crows and finish for certain a dream of playing in the finals in their first season in the AFL.
That was a good decision.
There was difficult conditions at Western Oval, and the Crows managed single goal scorers only. More injuries followed. McDermott, a hamstring, and 2 reports.
McDermott could touch it on the ground again and run inside 50. Do it again. There's no one there. Chance for Jarman. Unselfishly, McGuinness. And McGuinness is about 25 metres.
McGuinness was best for the Crows against his former club, the second time for the season. But Nigel Smart created the stink of the day with his report, which coloured what was a great day for him. The Crows went down by 24 points in a dreadful day of football, and Nigel Smart got 3 games from the AFL Tribunal.
There was nothing wrong with the bump, but I just have a feeling the elbow may well have come up.
But at the end of the game, a lot of the members in that type of thing come up and said hello and that. So, I mean, footy's an emotional sort of game, and a few people get carried on every now and then, but it was great to be back, that's for sure.
Tonight, the Saints a terrific start, 3-1 to nothing.
The Saints' visit to Adelaide, the second for the year, had great purpose. They were 4th on the premiership table and had a finals campaign looming, their first in many, many years.
That's Jamison, this time getting away from Grant Gerard. The drop punt, it's floating back, and that's a goal.
Gregg, well played by Jarman to smother it. Harvey, Burke, Filkey, high left footer. Jamison, Grant against him, Tregenza, caught. Filkey sits, waits, gets some space, kicks it to full forward. Kluge's target, and he is a good player. There's no question about that. From 45 metres out, drop punt, it's a good kick, it's a goal. Lockett on the lead.
The plugger Tony Lockett was out for his century in Adelaide, but the Adelaide defence made him earn it every time.
To Lee, they should rebound strongly here, the Crows. Lee's kick to Kluge. He's still getting touches, swings it wide to Filkey. Loose man set up, should go over the top to Brown, he does now. Jamison provides a lead. He kicks it towards him and he takes a super mark.
That was a great mark.
Yes, well, on the replay there, we see a fair hip and shoulder bump on Grant, puts him out of position.
Jamison, good kick, super kick, wonderful goal. Kicks back to the space, but the Crows should take it, they don't. No free kick, play on, now Pays. Lee ran for him. Uses Pays quite cleverly. Should kick it to McGuinness, and does at half-back.
There's McGuinness having an outstanding game. Did it well then to get out of trouble.
The Crows' vice-captain was outstanding, and so was this man, Wayne Wiedemann. The Crows' best 2 for the day. Wiedemann's long penetrating kick gave Jamison another goal.
Oh, here's Jamison, he's loose, he's a long kick. 45 metres, an open goal coming up. Goal to Jamison, great play.
So the Saints doing it pretty well. Adelaide have had a couple of sniffs at them, but they've bounced back.
Well, Sean Casca has gone wide to Maynard. He's created the loose man. Wiedemann's had a good quarter. Wiedemann to half forward. Here's that great contest. Jamison, terrific play to get in front and tap it on to Kluge. Now the tackle, and too high, the umpire said. Kluge, listen, great battles going on. Kluge to the pocket. No mark, it hits the deck. Here's McGuinness on the right foot, up in front of goal. It'll be a mark. Goal. Kicked by Bickley. So
So the Crows fight back. Good play, Tony McGuinness.
Dumped away, here's Hocking. With pace but run down. McGuinness in a perfect position for him. He's kicked to the goal square. Over the top. Grant gets back. Usually cool and reliable and skillful, and he's all those things at that time. Missed by Burke. Klug shrugs a tackle, little left footed. Very, very good to McIntyre. He's a touch of class, Klug.
Is he ever?
Kick from 40 metres. Drop punt. Kicks it all right. Kicks it beautifully in the end for goal.
Over the back of the pack is Russell Morris. He'll take it to the line. No, he keeps it in, and he might have been dangerous, that. They get away with it.
Kept up the pressure with some fantastic tackling.
Here's a chance for McIntyre again, hooking it up in front of goal. One-on-one contest. Oh, Mark Jamieson. Great Mark Jamieson. He will kick for goal number 4. What a contest. He's getting on top of Grant. Well, he's an experienced player, Russell Morris, too. 3 points the margin.
Vidovic and Wren. Wiedemann. Jarman tried it off the ground. Couldn't manage it. Oh, his handball was clever to Brown. Half forward. Missed by the Saints. Rowe, who should kick a goal. Drop punt. And does. Throws in front.
Goes outside to Nathan Burke. This is Vidovic again, looking for Burke. He actually threw that in the finish, so it will be a free kick. Going the way of the Crows, will go to Jamieson.
Yes, well, Nathan Burke isn't talented enough to... Sorry, Vidovic isn't talented enough to sidestep players, and he should really be just playing the basics, getting the ball quickly down the forward line.
Jamieson to half forward, Winmar the flyer. Wren, cleverly done. Which way will it bounce? Oh, bounces the way of Micken. Micken over the top. Here's Bartlett with a chance, an open goal. Bartlett kicks for his second and puts it through.
Micken. Bickley couldn't get to it, neither could McAdam. Filkey, he's had a fairly quiet match for him. Normally gets the possessions. The kick by Pays, Jamieson and Grant. Jamieson at last gets away from him and goes in to kick his 5th goal.
I mean, I was relatively happy with you. I mean, I try and set myself fairly high standards, and if you do that, I guess you've always got a chance of keeping yourself up there. The tagging side of it, well, it's been happening now for 6 years, so I had a lot of trouble with it in the first year, but from now on in, you sort of try and play smart and play clever and try and just break them whichever way you can. So I try and train very hard and make sure that I've got plenty of run in my legs and just try and run them off, really.
McGuinness now.
With little else but pride at stake and the hope of a reasonable rest over the summer and a more comfortable summer training, the Crows' final game was North Melbourne at home. The fans refused to desert their Crows. Seems they can't get enough, and David Brown was happy to oblige.
4 players went in hard there. Jarman on the left foot to the half-forward line. Here's Micken looking for the hand pass over the top to Liptak. Will it sit for him? He tries to get in the hand pass to Tregenza. Klug cleverly. Liptak again. McGuinness. Now it's Murphy. Oh, he threads it through the eye of the needle. Great goal.
What a terrific kick, Pete. Across it comes to Wiedemann, who goes in short. Jarman coming into the game now. Patterson through midfield, inside the attacking 50, runs free behind. Who's got the pace? Wren's coming across. He's certainly taking the giant strides. He's on his knees. Well
Big Sean Wren did continue to make giant strides. He was best for the day.
Gets it to German, or German's kicked it straight to Filkey. Now he's got McDermott running for him. The hand pass over the top. Chris McDermott, fine player. Back to Filkey. Filkey, the long kick to the pocket. Wren sets himself in front, or the bounce beats all the players. Michael Martin's there against Jamieson. Martin goes to ground, but Jamieson will end up with this ball. Gets in a quick hand pass. Murphy to Wren. Oh, cleverly done by Wren. Brown again, stabs it at goal. It's another one to the Crows. To the half-forward line, Ramiro right underneath it. Maynard back with the flight. Good play by Maynard to Chris McDermott. McDermott a bounce. Now he's looking for the short one out wide. Beautiful pass. And he's found his man in Liptak. Tregenza receives. Tregenza. Oh, good mark. Jamison, a very promising forward.
He's got a fine lead, Pete, hasn't he? Timed his run very well and a fine pair of hands.
And one good thing about Rodney Jamison too, Ross, not only can he mark, he is a magnificent kick. Now, I hope I haven't mozzed him. Normally when you give a bloke a rap, they put it out of bounds, but normally a great kick. Oh, he floats it and sneaks it through for his third.
Wiedemann in the bright sunshine, long towards half forward. Fisted away by Crocker, but directly to Filkey, who kicks for space. Not a bad kick, that one. Lee on the forward line, just inside the attacking 50, pulls it back. Murphy almost. It runs free off the ground. Brown too late, I fancy, or is it a goal? It's a goal.
Barely.
It was the Crows' highest score for the season, 180 points. And David Brown managed 4. His lookalike, Andrew Pays, found the goal on this occasion.
There with a hand pass. Brown again on the left foot in a goal. Beautiful kick. Or was it Pays? It might have been Pays.
Kicks down towards right half forward. Up the ground, McCarthy. Thought about the hand pass and probably should have. McDermott did well. Then McCarthy again. Rock. Hasn't seen much of the ball so far. Bickley, well done. Tasker chips it out wide. Pays has got it.
Yes, the two lookalikes together there, Pays and Brown. Commentators nightmare, those two. Oh, look at the mark. He is a promising player, Wren.
He set himself nice in that, Pete, didn't he?
Oh, he's only a young kid too, and look at that kick. Beautiful pass. Filkey's having a great day. The short one is on. Oh, look at the mark.
It'll take a good kick from here. Has the bounce, centering kick. Carey, McCarthy is there too. McCarthy was the man who got a hand to it. Now Carey, I think it may have been intended for him initially. Pays slaps it out. Down goes Ramiro. Was he taken high? No, holding the ball. Jarman wants to go. Gets it to McDermott, and away it comes to Maynard.
Yes, excellent defensive play that by the Crows. Well smothered there by Liptak. Could have bounced anywhere. Oh, the pass is on to Klug. This is beautiful team play by Adelaide. Klug, a very good thinking player, brings it back in front.
The Crows were mean in defence and accurate going forward. Jamison again. He kicked 8 for the day.
Meters, and I don't think there'll be any doubt about the distance. Look at that beautiful kick. Goal. Couple of bounces. Michael Martin kicks it wide. He's looking there for Carey. Couldn't get there. Maynard beats him to it. Oh, here's a danger man again, Filkey. What a day he's having. So is Klug. Klug getting right on top of him fairly. Oh, look at this. Loose men everywhere. McDermott, another loose man, Jarman. Jarman will casually stroll in the goal, stab it in the goal, and another one to the Adelaide Crows.
This is Wiedemann. Maynard. Maynard, a probing kick. Jamison from behind. Allison tried to pluck it out of midair. Jarman to Liptak, 35 metres out, pulls it back. Lee in best position.
No, your eyes aren't deluding you. Scotty Lee had a holiday from defence and arrogantly booted 4 goals.
They're killing them, those two. Up towards full forward. Oh, no mark. This will be danger again. Liptak turns around. Is this another one? Yes, it is. Klug has been outstanding. When he goes to Wiedemann, he comes straight through the pack. He loves it tough, Wiedemann. The chip pass is on. Filkey again, receiving from Jarman. A pass out wide, Jamison in front. Oh, what a good mark under extreme pressure.
Yes. Goes out wide with a kick. Crocker has it knocked away by Klug, who then proceeds to give it away to Martin. Confronted by Filkey. Ambitious man to try and go by Filkey. That could be holding the ball. Yes, he bounced it.
At 50, I think.
In the act of kicking. There goes Filkey down towards half forward. Scholl bounces off his chest. This is Liptak. Cleverly into the path of Jamison. Goal number 8. Look out. The North Melbourne players flew. Wren couldn't control it. Slapped out eventually. Bickley over the ball. Cleverly. Tregenza, the speedster's away. Runs through centre. Kicks towards half forward. Jamison again. No, he's trying to centre, and what a good kick it was.
Beautiful kick, wasn't it?
Terrific.
Away they go. This is Liptak. This is beautiful football, this. Oh, Crocker kicks it away. It might end up with Klug here. No, Michael Martin was in after it. Oh, still a chance.
Bickley didn't like fellow defender Scotty Lee to have too much of the limelight. He chipped in, but just one for himself.
Good news, though, for Adelaide is that
I think they were restricted to 10 men. North couldn't get up and win this from here. This is Liptak. Away to Klug, who centres the ball. Terrific kick. Jarman can go in and kick a goal. 45 metres out. He doesn't normally miss. He hasn't missed this one. Official attendance today, 36,225. Gee, they have supported their Crows this season. Oh, superbly done there. Knocked on, and the goal results to Klug after the good work from Filthy.
A 73-point win. What a great way to finish a very acceptable entry into the land's toughest football competition, the AFL.
We couldn't be unhappy with the way the team's progressed in such a short time, with the way the players, you know, especially some of the young players, have just adapted to the competition, and just with the general improvement of the club from, you know, October last year to September this year has been fantastic. And it's just important now that we build on that. We don't drop back next year, and we don't